Hi everyone, I'm Toyosi Etim Efyong, publishing editor of Folio.ng, and I'm speaking with 3 of the nominees in the education category of the Future Awards 2019. I've got Omozino Egu.
Hello.
Olasheni Cole.
Hi.
And Oluwaseyi Oluyole.
Hello.
Okay, let's start with an icebreaker. Complete this sentence. My favorite part of the day is?
Mornings.
Why?
Because I get to meditate in the morning. Yeah.
What does meditating look like? Do you
reflecting?
Do you cross your hands and cross your legs?
Introspecting.
Right.
Looking in and then praying and then just envisioning the day.
Right.
And the goals and everything that I need to do, where I'm at, where I need to get to. So
you do this every day.
Yeah, every
morning.
day.
Fantastic. So you're a morning person, clearly.
I'm a morning person.
What time do you say you get up?
So sometimes 3 a.m.
That's a night person. You're a night person.
No, I function better that way.
Yeah.
As against if I wake up 6, I feel like there's no time. That time I have to be out, I have to be moving. But 3, everywhere is silent, everywhere is calm.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I've taken a walk at 5 a.m. before and it was beautiful.
Yeah.
So I know what you mean. Okay. Olasheni?
Well, for me also mornings actually.
Like 3 or?
4 a.m. actually.
4, okay.
4. Yeah. So that time helps me to plan the day. Makes me understand what I need to do for the day and how to strategize on getting my goals for the day done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Mornings too.
But
sometimes between 7:50 a.m. and 8 a.m. That's when my day starts.
So that's your favorite part of the day?
Yes, because that's when the kids go to school. So there's just this quiet that just follows them, like all the noise goes with them.
Right.
And everywhere is quiet, and then you have time to think and laugh when it has when you get back.
Okay. So that thing is true. What they say about habits of successful people. Get up early in the morning, just plan your day, plan your life. I love it. Fantastic. Okay, so this category that you've been nominated is not one that you're not doing what you're doing for the awards, right? Or are you doing it for the awards? But yes, transformative work. So what does being nominated for an awards like Future Awards, what does it do for you, for your sense of confidence, for your sense of purpose? Does it have any impact at all?
Well, do I go first?
I go first.
Okay.
Then we'll start here next time.
Okay, so for me, it gives a sense of, people actually recognize what I do and what we're trying to achieve or what we're trying to do with preventing talent mismatch from secondary schools to for organizations or for people who are already working, about to enter into the workplace. It just feels, this is nice. So in my hidden corner, doing what I do, people are watching, people are observing, people are seeing the impact. Beneficiaries are seeing the transformation that is happening in their own lives through our tools, sessions, and everything. And then they went ahead to nominate. So I'm just like, wow. Right. For me, it was a wow moment. Wow moment, like wow.
That was your reaction when you got the call?
Yeah.
Really?
I missed the call. And so I called and she said, I can't remember the person's name now. I said, hey, check your email. You've been nominated. I said, what? What? Come again? What did you just say?
Oh, amazing.
And so I was just like, wow. So it was really comforting. Yeah.
Okay, nice. Olasheni?
Well, kind of the same experience actually, because you get this sense of fulfillment when you get this type of nominations. You know, it makes you understand that what you're doing actually is valuable.
Right.
And you're actually imparting kids and you're adding value also to the lives of people, and thereby also helping the Nigerian economy and also helping our society at large. So when I got the nomination, I was actually, what will I say? I was surprised in a way, because this year's one, I was like, okay, it's already going, I think it was like 2 weeks before the end of the nominations that I got my teachers like, okay, teachers, just nominate me for the Future Awards, And they were like, oh yeah, we're going to do this. Oh yeah. Okay, so, and I was surprised to...
That you actually scaled through.
Yeah, it scaled through actually.
I'll come back to you because this is your second time being nominated. So you must be doing something right. But so what does a nomination like this do for you? How did you feel, first of all?
I felt great. And for me, it's more than just me. It's
Yes.
more about myself and the other kids that I work with. I've heard about the Future Award. I think from the first edition was when I watched it, and there have been years when I wish that I would get nominated and I wasn't nominated. So I actually already forgot about it. I was just like, you know what, I'm just going to keep moving with exactly what I'm doing, and then if it happens, it happens. So I wasn't expecting it. I did not even know. I was going through so much personal stuff that I didn't even know that the Future Awards were already doing nominations. So I guess some people that I don't know about
The people that are watching, the watchers.
nominated me.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's more than just me. It's the kids that I work with. All these milestones, I just let them know that, hey guys, this is a great thing that is happening. I mean,
I was going to ask about that. So you shared that with them?
Yes,
like, oh,
I did.
I got nominated.
Some of them were like, what? They're mixing up the names, like, okay, for what? But what they just know is, oh, award.
Yeah.
So that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Then for some of them, I explained to them, I showed them a couple of videos on like, oh, this is how huge this thing is. And then when we got the nomination certificate, I just showed it to them. I told them that I was going to frame it and put it in the studio so that whatever happens, this is a step in the right direction.
Amazing. So, I mean, you've gotten global recognition. It's not just Future Awards. You've gotten recognition from Naomi Campbell, Rihanna, so many people, different places. What has this done? Has this helped, in any way? Has this helped you as a person? Has this helped the dream catchers? Honestly. This is honest conversation. Or was it just social media hype for a few minutes and then nothing?
I think that the social, it has made me, I tell people a lot that social media is a fast, just understand what's happening there. But one way or the other, it has helped. It has helped me because there are days when you're just like, oh my goodness, am I doing the right thing? And then it's days like that maybe something happens and you see people celebrating you and it just makes you want to continue and work harder. And for the kids, I always say one thing, that some of them are kids where they've always felt like nothing. And sometimes when you go into certain places, they feel like they're in the wrong spot. So stuff like that just makes them, it helps their self-esteem. So it's like, oh, finally I'm doing something. So I'm not just this insignificant person in the world. I'm doing this thing in my tiny corner, and then this great thing can happen to me.
Yeah.
And that's also helped us get supporters. Most of the time when we try to raise funds, what we do is crowdfunding. And because people have watched it on their TV or they've heard something, it's easier for them to believe what's happening. When you come on our pages, they see them, they see that, oh, these kids are growing, they're looking better. So I think that, like I always say, we may not be where we want to be, but we're not where we used to be.
Amazing. And they are growing,
Yes,
the last time I saw them was it 2017? I think I spoke to you in 2017. And now I see pictures of them and it's they're looking all fresh and you're doing a great job. Well done. But let's talk about coding now. So I think it was last year, I heard that Dubai, and I should have done more research, but yeah. I heard that Dubai has incorporated coding into every course, every curriculum from like elementary school. That's huge.
Yeah, it is.
That's huge. Is that something you are trying to accomplish with young empowered programmers?
Yeah. That's actually what we are trying to do. Starting to get the kids from a very young age, to get them to understand the skills, think like a computer, and get your results oriented, get your results based on what you've been able to put into the computer. For instance, what I tell people is this, because some people tell me, coding for children, what do you think about that? Are you sure kids can cope with this and all that? And I tell people, reading and writing, for instance, why do kids read and write? They read and write because they want to communicate. They want to pass a message across. So coding also is a way of expression for these kids. Their creativity, their innovative skills. So they're able to express themselves using coding. Right. So that's what we are trying to get out of these kids from a very, very young age. And we work with several schools and we encourage schools to make it a part of their curriculum. Right. And we've seen a lot of improvement in these kids, academically, mathematics, in other aspects, their self-esteem also, because they're like, I created this. Yes, I created this. They show their parents, teachers, and all.
It just seems so technical.
They're so excited.
And then I hear you giggling. I'm just thinking, gosh, I probably sound like an old woman, but like the thought of coding alone, like looking at a blank screen and then I'm supposed to type stuff that the computer is supposed to respond to. That's a lot.
Yeah. Okay. So.
But you're teaching 5-year-olds and above.
Yeah. Yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
Catch them young.
Yeah. So we have different platforms actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Kids don't start writing codes immediately. You introduce them to functionalities to make them understand how coding actually works.
Right.
Before you now introduce them to writing real codes. So those platforms are actually fun and exciting for them. So they're able to create things like animations, apps, games, and so much more. So it boosts their interests. It boosts that creative aspect of them. And also it helps them in problem solving also. And it amazes us to see what these kids are able to do. You just leave them with a project and just, okay, figure it out. Right. And 90% of the time, they figure it out.
I don't know why I'm sitting here and I'm sensing a collaboration between you guys.
We've
you spoke already. You see. Honestly, I think that would be fantastic. Okay, let's talk about you, Dimi. You are a career guidance counselor, professional.
Yes.
Anytime I think guidance, I think GNC from school. And it's funny because my GNC counselor was a nurse. So it was almost like something that wasn't really taken seriously, to be honest. It's not, I don't know that I readily had someone to go and meet to talk to. It seemed rushed. So my first question is, now it's one thing to guide kids, especially in this part of the world, to say, okay, this is what you should be studying. It's another thing for them to get admission, to actually go and study that thing. How are you planning to bridge that gap?
Okay, so the way we approach it at where we work is we look at the child's personality, abilities, interest, learning style, and all of that to make a career path decision, right? Now, most times when kids study, when they're trying to pick a course, they select a course, right, that they seem to feel that they are passionate about or they want to study. Most times it's not right path. And so they are studying subjects that they don't have the natural competence and natural abilities for. So they are struggling.
I just remember.
And so it affects.
I'm so sorry. I actually took up physics and I failed. I took up physics and further maths. I just remember that. That's so funny.
Yeah.
Sorry. So, yeah, go on.
So it's always like that. So they pick those subject combinations that are wrong because they're picking it, okay, I just want to do computer science, like tech, coding, but you check the child's natural makeup, it's wrong. Right. It's a wrong match. So the first thing, we fix that. And then we create a roadmap. And that roadmap says, these are the subject combination. And almost the child can see there's a path. It lights up something in them.
Right.
They are self-motivated. They begin to study. You're not pushing them to study. So when you see parents that go and read your book, you must study. You're stressing yourself. You've not sold the bigger picture to the child. The child cannot see the bigger picture. So it doesn't see why all the subjects are important. It doesn't see what he's going to use it for. He doesn't understand himself enough.
Right.
And so once that gap is bridged, it opens up every other thing. So you see, even in the workplace, it's the same thing. When we run these assessments and on teams, and they're able to see their competencies for what it is, understand their personalities. Yes, you have a much more self-aware team. Right. They produce better.
Right.
The same thing when you're hiring. If you hire somebody that is not the right fit, that it doesn't matter if the person have all the aptitude in the world, all the qualifications, but if that person's natural makeup is not the right fit, that person is not going to meet up. Productivity won't be optimized. So the same thing with learning, the same thing with organizations, same thing with people. Once there's a mismatch, you cannot unlock human capital productivity when there's a mismatch.
Right. But I feel like kids, and obviously correct me if I'm wrong, I'm learning. I feel like kids change their minds a lot, So if I answer all these questions and I tell you, okay, I want to be I don't know, what do kids want to be these days? Dancers. Or engineers or something. Are you giving the child, because if you say, okay, this is the path you should go, like this is the perfect thing for you, you put that in the child's head. It's not really giving that child space to change their minds.
Well,
And now that I'm asking this, I think, go on.
let me explain that a bit more.
Yeah.
So we follow a very objective, it's not subjective, and we're not looking at interest alone.
Got you.
So we're looking at things the child doesn't even know about himself. Personality is in the mix, abilities in the mix, not aptitude. Now, natural competencies, natural abilities and talents that the child is not even aware of. Right? Looking at the learning style, how that child processes information also informs how that child is, the child's ability to lead, the child's ability to communicate. So all of those things, all that data set is mined on that child. So when we are predicting a path, when we then run it through the algorithm and it's predicting a path, right? It's predicting a series of industry clusters. So you're not giving a child, you're not putting in a box or be a doctor, no. But giving them
medicine.
Yes, industries.
Okay.
So they become aware that, I can function in health. And if I were to function in health, I can go to allied services. And under allied services, these are the options I can explore. Right. That way, exploration is broader. I can function in the creative space, but specifically media and communications. What are the options in media? That way, because the information, the data set is not coming from subjective. I like, we don't analyze like that. We look 360, do the analysis, make the predictions, and then give them options to explore because they're still formative. But most times they still follow that path. So I have a child we have worked with for 4 years. Like every year, mom will send her, go and take this test, go and take this test, go and take this test.
And has it changed? It hasn't.
Same metrics.
Every time.
Every time. The mom is even saying, okay, we know that you people are, you guys are good at what you do. Like, consistently, it has been technology. Even when, I told the child, I told her, and I said, you have a passion for media. It is not disputed, but tech is the best way for you to penetrate media right now. It's different from just generating content. You need to merge it to make your value proposition when you leave school stronger. And so she's running with that mindset. And she doesn't have any issues anymore with reading, studying, because now from 13, 14, 15, she's 16 now, and she has taken this test, and has said the same, these are the options for you, these are the best ways, you're still on track. So they know that they are guiding that child through
Amazing. Okay, so this is the education category, clearly. I want to talk about, in fact, several things, one of the things, public schools, all of that. But I want to touch on, in your opinion, if you were to choose skill acquisition or formal education, what would it be?
Can't we merge?
If you were to choose one, if you were to give more prominence, if you were to say one was more important, which one would you say is more important?
No one is more important. I think that at the moment we're putting way more importance on formal education, which is too much. The guy I saw last time, I was talking to him that I read something where he said that the Nigerian kids are actually not prepared for the jobs that will be available in a couple of years. And sometimes that worries me because everybody's always particular about, the 10 times 50 or whatever.
500.
So I would say that just figuring out a balance between the two. Children are different. There are some kids that are more, should I say, white collared. That they are just more straightforward, and you see that they are not, as much as we would like to be creative, sometimes it's just like when things are just set for them and they can just walk in that path, and then there are kids that they just want to explore. And so if there was a system where you can actually, almost like what she is doing, where you can actually find out exactly what a child wants, it's easier to work with the kids. One of the things that I say that is one of my biggest goals is, even though at the moment what we run is a free arts academy, we want to merge formal education into it. So instead of where it's just dance class, actually an actual school where when you come in the morning, you leave in the afternoon, and somewhere in between, you have your formal education. Then you go and do whatever craft it is that you want to practice.
Reminds me of some football schools in England.
Yes.
So they're learning how to play football, but they also have classes.
And I think that Opera has something similar, Opera, the Leadership Academy in South Africa too.
Right.
So that's like literally one of my biggest dreams, because I'm like, it's going to take us to another level entirely. You see kids explore their abilities in ways that we just
They're not yet exploring.
So
Yeah.
I can't choose a side.
Yeah. If you were to choose, what would it be?
Well, we have to look at what education really is, first of all, because in this part of the world, when you say education,
Is primary, secondary, university, masters.
Exactly. So that's what we all understand here. So we need to bring a new definition of what education really is. We need to let people understand that education is actually acquiring skills, learning, understanding things. So it doesn't have to be subjected to numeracy, literacy alone. It has to be something more broad, something that has to incorporate life skills, skills that will be relevant for these kids in future and all that. So if we are able to bring about this definition, I believe it's going to help us more. Like for what we do, one of the major challenges that we have is sensitizing people. Because we tell people, okay, this is what we do and all that. They're like, what is coding? You know, and even those that even have an idea of what coding is, they're like, is it for younger kids? Why are you bringing it to us? No. Or some will even tell you, oh, coding, okay, just for them to know what the computer, the parts of the computer is, the monitor, you know, and all that. So I'm like, no, it goes way deeper than that. So, you know, we've had to, you know, organize programs to sensitize people that this is what we are actually talking about, you know, and so far it has helped a bit, but we need more of it. And on the long run, I remember we had this discussion also. On the long run, what we are looking at is having a coding school. A coding school, a proper coding school, where kids come, you know, they learn life skills, they learn everything, but it's going to be centered in coding. You know, because why are we teaching kids to code? It's not because we want all these kids to be techies in future. We want them to have these skills because when they get older, these skills they learn now, even if your child is going to be an accountant in future, it's going to help him in his future role as an accountant. He's going to be able to analyze properly, solve problems better, and all. You know, so we need a lot of work in the aspect of sensitization, letting people understand what education really, really is.
Yeah, I'm looking at you and you sound so passionate about this. Like, so passionate.
Actually, I started from my NYS youth service.
Okay, yes, I think I read that story that you were in a school.
Yeah,
and
no computers. And I was meant to teach ICT.
Oh.
And I was wondering, like, okay, what am I meant to do?
Wow.
You know, so I even asked the school, is there a computer? They said, yeah, there's a computer somewhere. And I checked. It was just obsolete, just there, dust and everything. I was like, wow. So I was like, I can't teach kids just using pictures on the textbook, telling them, okay, this is how it looks like and all. You know, so I took my computer to school, my laptop, and started, you know, teaching these kids. And I was amazed. I mean, seeing these kids, many of them were just seeing the computer for the very first time.
Interesting.
And if you
What
see
year
the
was
way,
this?
sorry?
What year was this?
That's 2015. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, and I was actually, the first day I went to class with my laptop and I saw the reaction of the kids, I was like, I was just like,
even you had your own reaction. Wow.
You know, so when I came back to Lagos, I decided to scale the idea and start this. Yeah.
Amazing. You're doing a phenomenal job. All of
Thank
you,
you.
by the way, are doing
Thank
phenomenal jobs. Okay. My question, if you were to choose between skill acquisition and formal education, what would it be?
Well, I think there has been a disconnect between formal education and skill.
I like how all of you did not give me a straight answer. Like, all of you are just like, we're not going to be put in a box. There's no box here. Okay, let's go.
And the truth is, the disconnect is we have not translated subjects to industry and skills. So for every skill, there is a matching subject that is relevant. I think for education, what is important is how to think, how to solve problems, and how to make judgments and decisions.
Not 10 times 50.
Yeah. And so, but we do not translate how these subjects, are relevant in this context And so that's where the big disconnect is. And so kids are asking themselves, so why? I remember having some training with some teachers on classroom psychology and helping them understand that if you must understand your learners, you must see things multifaceted, like see how geometry applies to photography, and it actually does. How physics applies to a bit of fashion. And it feels vague, but there is an application. So when we're working with kids or working with even adults, we say this is the link. And then they see it, and then the subject has meaning, and then they study better. So you see that there's no, I want to drop out of school, I want to go my own way, I can start my business, I don't need any form of education. But education in itself now becomes meaningful because the subjects, there is a link. So once teachers fix that, and all the teachers I've worked with and we've worked with, once we help them fix that disconnect, their classroom just becomes so beautiful. The bonding, the engagement, the relevance, the proactiveness and initiative of those kids improve because they are seeing the connect. It's not vague anymore. I'm going this way. These subjects will take me there, but more importantly, they will help me in understanding how to achieve this goal. So you're seeing how it's all connected.
Right. I'm hearing you, and I think you should be training more teachers than students, because they're the ones that will be able to pass on this knowledge to the kids. But so now we have this whole dance thing going on. If any of your kids decides they want to veer off, like they want to stop dancing, they want to do something else, does this impact dream catchers? What impact will this have?
I don't think it would. I think what it would do is it would inspire the other kids. I say that their dancing does not mean they have to become dancers.
Right, so, you tell them this.
I tell them that. So for me, it's like a ticket. This is one of the ways I get to keep them in school. Children, they just want something that is exciting. They find it very, very exciting. They expend all their energy on dancing. So then they now spend less time trying to get into trouble because they are too busy. They are occupied with one thing or the other. And I've worked with, actually I have a couple of adults now that don't even dance anymore. I worked with them maybe I think 10 years ago. Oh, wow. And there's one of them that they can't even do the basic zanku right now. They're like, I'm not so interested.
How long have you been doing this?
Since I was 14.
Wow, I'm not going to ask how old you are, but I'll guess. And wow, okay.
Yes, so it's not just about the dancing, it's what the dancing is doing. And another thing that it does is actually it also teaches them work ethics. So now you know that, okay, I was not in school before. I started dancing. Now I'm in school. Okay, so I worked, I did this, and then now I can stay in school. I'm able to stay in school because of this thing that I am doing. So that's mostly what it is. It's just a way of giving them a ticket out of the slum, out of the street, out of poverty. Because through this, they also get to meet other kids. They go for events, they see other people, they see that there is life outside of where it used to be. So now it's just providing opportunities for kids that otherwise not have had the opportunity. Right. What you do with your opportunity is now with you. Exactly. It's now with you. I will guide you as much as I can. And like I always say, I run a very, very tight ship. I'm almost like a typical Nigerian mom.
Oh, wow.
How
many kids do you have now?
I have 10 in the house, 20 students overall. I have some that also come. And so that's just, it is just that for them to just understand that, and you don't just have this and then you move on. Pay it forward, pass on the torch. Okay, this one person did this crazy thing, and now there's like 10 or 20 of us. So if each of us decide to do this crazy thing, the world will become a better place. And there'll be less kids on the streets and more kids in school, and they'll be able to just do more with their lives. So I think there's actually just one person that wants to become a dancer. If I'm not lying to you.
Really?
You ask most of them, they all want to become teachers.
Oh, that must you must have influenced that as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, so I tell them all the time that it's not a do or die of
Right.
if I don't dance. That's the end. No, just
Say,
have
"Shehu,
fun."
beat me.
Exactly. If you come to there and say I don't want to dance anymore, I won't say we are no more school for you. No problem. You decide what you want to do, but you will not just sit around and be getting into trouble or walking around the street doing nothing. As long as you're enrolled in this academy, you have to find something that you want to do, and then I will look for how to
Support and encourage. Amazing. Okay, let's talk about the public school system in Nigeria. How can we fix it? I put myself with you people. If you were in the education, I'm going to put myself with you. How can we fix it? What are the basic steps to take now? Even as private individuals, to change the public sector, public schools. Everyone is quiet. Olasheni?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a big one actually because the damage that has been done in the educational sector in Nigeria, it's actually very deep, and it will take a longer time to solve it because we didn't arrive here overnight. It was a gradual process that brought us to where we are now. So I believe that with more initiatives like what we have here and government support also. Because if you look at it now, for instance, you go to some schools, some public schools, because we also go to some public schools, we get this problem of, you guys, what are you doing here, So we want to do something good. We want to bring this, but, you guys are, you're not giving us the access that we need, So, I think that actually needs to be solved also. The government needs to embrace a lot of partnerships from, young, innovative people, that want to actually do things in the educational sector to help, because we are trying to help. And, more of these actually is needed. And one of my passion also, what I really want to do, which we want to start next year, is to reach out to those kids in the northern part of Nigeria, especially those in the IDP camps, because they are just there in the camps, nothing. They're not doing nothing. They're just there, and the government is not really thinking about, okay, how can we reach out to these kids? How can we get education, quality education across to these kids? They're not really, So I believe that the government needs to partner with more people that have these innovative ideas that want to help. They need to give us more flexible. They need to give us flexibility so that we can actually get into these spaces and help to in the quarter that we can actually contribute. Because what we are doing actually is not enough. We need more. We need much more. But we can only keep doing what we are doing and hope that it gets better.
Do you think privatizing would help? Privatizing public schools? In fact, when I think of private schools, I think of the school fees. I think of the school fees, and it's a lot. It's a lot. But I sense, or I believe, that the quality of education there is better. So will this solve a problem, or should we just keep the public schools there and hope for the best? At least some people will be able to afford it.
I think that what he said is most likely
just embrace private,
because
help from private.
There are private schools that are as good as public schools. I went to a school where I can't sit inside that building. It's just one building. Then they use wood to demarcate the thing, and my room is bigger than that place. And I was just looking like this. I didn't know what to say. So sometimes even some private schools are not that great, but because parents just feel like at least if my child comes to this private school, opportunities would increase. Then there's peer pressure. Now with kids in public school, some of them, they won't get to school before they will leave. They won't even get to the school as they still tell their parents, Baba, I'm going to school. They won't get to school. In other countries, if a child does not...
Okay, I get what you're saying.
If a child does not come to school, the parents will know, because the school will call. Even in a private school, if they don't see your child, they will call you. But in public school, some of the teachers are even happy because they are like 100 in the class. You now say you don't want to come, please go wherever you want to go.
They might not notice.
Exactly, they won't even know. And I've tried to do stuff in public schools. I actually just gave up because there was one time that I kept on going to the office send letter, send letter, send letter. I was like, okay, no, let me just do the program and just face what I can do. So I think that if they embrace it, will be easier. There are so many people that want to see change in Nigeria. So many people.
Right.
And sometimes it's just really, really difficult. They are still trying to take care of what you have. You don't want to use all the funds that you have to try and pay somebody to be able to get into something. So I don't think that privatizing, once it becomes private, we're all human beings. Sometimes people have their selfish interests where they just want to do
it becomes
what they
something
want to do.
else.
Yes, it becomes
Question is really deep. But I'll start with this. I'll say that we need to first look at it that it takes a village. So the sole responsibility, so I quite agree with them, the sole responsibility cannot be on just government because it takes a village. Your child is in private school, this child is in public school, this child will become local government chairman, governor, your child even with the jeep or the I just got back or anything, they're all going to meet somewhere. So it's going to really, it takes really a village. So the way I look at it, and when you ask that question, the word that came to me is decentralizing the system. In a way that we need to begin to create learning clusters around in communities.
So that's
So
outside
if a group
of
of
school.
parents, yes, a group of parents come together and say, you know what, this is our children, this is where we want them to be. How can we educate them and prepare them for the future that we think our economy or the world is going to? So it's more like homeschooling, but in clusters. Children will get real education. What is happening today, even both private and public, is that parents are just going to dump their children. So teachers and school administrators are just caretakers from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. and they go and collect. I've done a research. My last research was on parental involvement and student academic performance. And and then you see that as this, you've abandoned these children, they're figuring things out on their own. And we do not know what they are figuring out. But however, when their parents are involved, when their parents take responsibility, say, this is my child, I'm responsible for the education of this child. I'm responsible for ensuring that this child is prepared for this future, for the present and for the future. And those learning clusters, both rich people, poor people, if we adopt this model, is going to, imagine that a group of early years, all parents, all mothers and children, and fathers, you are responsible for that child's education. This thing we're complaining about high school fees and learning resources, you all know that your children are in this cluster. You all know that you're responsible. If you all cannot, you will figure out how to ensure that they get the best quality in that cluster. So it's like taking a homeschool model and making it that way. We're complaining about out of number of children are out of school. We create those clusters. Everybody's taking ownership. Let's see, we're responsible for developing these children.
I feel like my mother is talking
Because
I feel like my mother is pulling my ear and saying, are you listening to me? Okay, so I'm going to take each of you's cause individually and ask, how can we support?
So for Udemy, one of the challenges that we've had is pushing out awareness, making people aware that this thing, talent mismatch, is a root cause problem. And if you fix the root cause, you can fix so many other things.
Right.
From learning institutions to organizations to even people, young people who are unemployed, underemployed. So that awareness, once we fix that, that's a key fixing. So we need to be in people's faces. And that's something that I'm so grateful for this platform for.
Yeah.
To be able to say these things and share the ideologies and things that we've done. And another thing is, as we are trying to fix the talent problem, we also need talent, solid partners that would push our cause and that we can work with to penetrate places. Imagine that we have these tools available across universities. So people are preparing. They're not entering the workplace confused.
They're choosing the right
They're
profession.
choosing the right profession. Imagine that JAM adopts this. Say, as you're taking JAM, know your parts, know your part. Imagine during NYSC, it is made compulsory for all corpers to take this thing. And they're knowing their part, finding direction, they're charting their parts. Imagine how much human capital productivity we will unlock. It will be amazing. Employers will not be complaining that we are looking for talent, we can't find talent. So we want this kind of partners, strong partners that we can work with. In Nigeria, West Africa, everywhere, we want to work with people to solve this problem.
Okay. With Dreamcatchers, how can we support? Life. How can humanity support?
I think that humanity, we need to take, first of all, just understand that with the arts, there's nothing negative that comes with it. I've had people say to me that, oh, so my child should be a dancer. As she's small, she'll not become a prostitute. Madam.
Wow, he went to
literally went from here.
like
So-
that. Yeah, that
So,
that went.
so that's I've had people say that, and I think that one of the biggest things that I'm trying to do now is that when it comes to there's music, there's dancing, there's comedy, but with dancing, we're really we're still at the bottom of the food chain, and while we're here trying to change lives, there are people that think that we're trying to take food from their mouth, so they keep blocking ways for the academy to reach certain heights.
I need you to break that down.
So
I need you to really break it down. I don't.
okay. So let me explain. For instance, now most people feel like, oh, it's just dancing, and then someone would call and say, oh, can we have the kids come over to so and so? I'm like, okay, yes, no problem.
To perform.
To perform, and I'll say, okay, no problem. They can come over. This is the rate. Oh, how many children are coming? It doesn't matter how many children are coming. Whatever you give goes straight to the academy.
Right.
And we have 20 kids in the academy. But some people would just be like, oh, we'll do it for the exposure.
Okay. Yeah.
So you understand?
Exposure
Yeah.
is a word that's thrown around a lot in
A
the
lot.
entertainment
So
industry.
I think that people should just appreciate the craft that the kids. I mean, they've worked very, very hard in the past 1 year. True, they went viral. There's no way to calculate how you go viral.
Yeah.
But I know that they've put in their hard work, and we're not necessarily sitting down asking for donations all the time. We are ready to work for whatever it is that they have. So, however you think that you can support. Having 200,000 followers on Instagram is not money.
Yeah.
You cannot go to the school now and
And
say,
say,
please.
this person has-
So, like, just understand that however you can support the kids, if you have an event or whatever that you want them to come and perform at or do whatever you want them to do, let them do something for them that will make them happy. Sometimes
It even makes them feel valued if you
Yes.
pay, because it's a service they're rendering. They're entertaining you. They're entertaining your guests. So
Sometimes-
please, nobody should ask for Dreamcatchers for free. If they ask, please call me.
okay, I'll call
Yes.
you. And then sometimes I have to control myself not to lose it and fight in front of the kids. But people legit do this thing of, oh, because they are poor kids.
And they take, yeah, I get what
Sometimes they'll finish doing somebody start squeezing 500 naira notes inside their hand when you know that you got an invoice. Then to now become a problem to now follow through with so there's that. And most importantly, we have a makeshift studio, so we're trying to make it a proper studio where more kids can come in. At the moment there are 20 kids and they're always complaining because it's very stuffy in the small space.
Okay.
So however that can help to just
help humanity
help.
understand.
so that we can, because every time I go and I see kids on the street, it breaks my heart all the time. I know that there are some kids that want to be in school. I know some of them don't want to be in school, but I know that some of them want to dance. And when they come eventually to go back to school and understand what is happening.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Olasheni, how can we help?
Okay, I'll break it down. We want to scale actually, and in scaling, we need a lot of help actually. Like I said earlier, we want to reach out to kids as far as IDP camps and all. So we need a lot. We need to train more facilitators. We need to get computers, laptops, computers, which we are going to be using. And also, we need to be able to get more centers where we can actually reach out to more kids. So we need partnerships. We need people that will be able to partner with us so that we can achieve these dreams that we want to actually fulfill. And I know that as we do this, well, we are developing our society.
Yeah.
We are developing our economy also, because when we are able to nurture kids, get them to and teenagers also, and get them to understand that, okay, when I finish school, I can actually use these skills to better myself, better my family. So it's actually, we are solving a problem also. And I believe that with these partnerships we'll be able to do more. Right. And we'll be able to help more kids and teenagers.
Right. Amazing. Okay, let's round up with this. In my next life, I'll be...
Exactly. That's what
okay. In my next life,
Olashini Cole, founder,
really?
Young Empower Programmers. Yep.
In my next life, I'll still be doing it. Almost, ego, behavior analytics, education, human capital development, Udemy. All of those things. I love it. I enjoy it.
Fantastic. In my next life, I'll be talking to you guys. Yeah. That's all from here. Thank you.